Привіт, я знаходжусь на в Брукліні. Цього разу інша локація, яка мені подобається більше. Дуже класна атмосфера, дуже така дружня. Поспілкувалася з багатьма художниками, записала інтерв'ю. З нового, що цікавого, що я зараз пам'ятаю і чим хочу поділитися, бо я це забуду. Це, по-перше, питання на рахунок того, як продаються роботи. Ми минулого разу це намагалися вияснити. Комісія з Арт-ярмарку, вони беруть 15% від продажів. Тобто це небагато, це гарна комісія, і більшість художників, верніше всі художники, з якими я спілкувалася, сказали, що ця виставка окупається 100%. Фінансово, а також це гарний маркетинг, тому що Арт робить гарний маркетинг для них, коли вони приймають участь. І взагалі дуже приємно мати справу з організаторами цієї виставки. На рахунок того, як проходить транзакція, покупець вибирає роботу, потім він йде на касу і оплачує, і приходить з талончиком до художника, і художник віддає йому роботу. Тобто оплата йде через виставку, через організаторів, не напряму. Було багато цікавих робіт. Напевно, що мені перше прийшло в голову, це, що я перше згадала, це художниця, яка робить такі об'ємні скульптурні роботи, барельєфи на стіну. Я зробила з нею інтерв'ю, ми його побачимо. Дуже різні художники представлені, багато художників, які знаходяться на цій виставці не перший раз. Тобто є художники, які вже 8-й раз виставляються. Тобто це такі established професійні художники. І якби в виставці вигідно їх повертати знову і знову. А також є початківці художники, які перший раз, молоді художники і різні стилі. Тобто я думаю, що організатори, коли вони приймають роботи, вони також звертають увагу на те, щоб була оця різноманітність. І можливо, якщо хтось подав заявку і ви не попали, то це не тому, що погані роботи, а просто тому, що такі роботи може вже представлені у достатній кількості. Тому більшість художників радило просто подавати заявку ще раз, тому що більшість художників, з якими я спілкувалася, сказали, що вони не з першого разу попали на цю виставку. Атмосфера, музика дуже класна, є діджеї, які міняються. Сучасна музика, це звичайна вже атмосфера на цій виставці. Мені самі треба передивитися ще мої інтерв'ю, щоб зробити виставки, що було саме цінне. Але більшість художників, вони як подають, роблять найкраще, що вони можуть, в плані в тому, що вони вибирають, подають інформацію про себе, біографію, виставки. Я думаю, що важливо показати, що ти професійний, серйозний або серйозно налаштований художник, якщо ти початківець. Показати найкращі свої роботи, показати, що є якийсь стиль. Якщо були якісь участі у схожих виставках, то також це показати. Тобто, от такі моменти.
My name is Sophia.
Sophia, nice to meet you. I'm Morgan.
Nice to meet you. Tell me a little bit about what kind of art do you do, what's your inspiration? It's very impressive, very unique.
Thank you so much. Yeah, well, so most of my inspiration comes from nature. From the time I was really little, I've always been like in the woods, out in nature, barefoot, So many of my pieces are abstractions of things that I admire in the natural realm. And so a lot of times with my pieces, I try to incorporate natural materials into what I'm doing. So with my texture pieces, I create blends using different types of modeling paste and gels. But then I also like to incorporate things like crushed granite, crushed marble. I also source argonite, which is a type of coral from the Bahamas. So I try to, give a nod to nature by bringing in natural materials into my work. So,
are you a full-time artist?
I am a full-time artist, yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yes, ever since I graduated from college. So I started out doing portraiture, and for a while I was taking a lot of commissions, and I wasn't doing a lot of the things that I was really inspired to do. So I started doing these, and the rest has kind of been history. And here I am.
How your family and your close people feel about your choice of profession? Because artistic career is pretty tough.
No, they have been incredibly supportive. My husband especially, he's like my right-hand man. He builds my frames and all of my different panels and things like that.
He's here, right?
He is here somewhere. But my family's been incredibly supportive. They're actually coming on Saturday to come and support me. So yeah, I'm really blessed. I know a lot of, not everybody always has that type of support.
You're a pretty young artist. You're
27?
But
Younger.
So it's just the beginning of your career, right?
Yeah, this is actually my first time at the other art fair, so
cool.
I'm hoping to return and do more showing.
By the way, was it difficult to get accepted to the fair? Were you accepted from the first attempt? Because I know some artists apply and they get rejected.
Yeah, no, so I actually was. I was really fortunate to have my application accepted from the beginning. So it did take, a few months to hear back from them, but I was, really grateful when I finally did get that email.
So it's your first application and you got accepted.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, it was.
Can you, I know it's maybe you don't know probably, but what would you advise to people who want to apply and get accepted? Like maybe something you feel that was important in your application?
Yeah, well, so I think I really do feel, this might sound a little cliche, I really do feel like you have to believe in yourself first. Sometimes, not from my family, but sometimes other people will say exactly what you were saying, like art's not a real job, you might be a starving artist. But I really feel like in order to come to these types of events, you have to believe that you have what it takes to do it, right? And I also think, at least for me, this is kind of my motto. It's like, I believe that art is meant to be shared. So, sometimes artists are a little bit afraid to sell their work or really put themselves out there. But for me, I'm like, I find that fairs are a great opportunity to actually meet people and, I don't know.
I think it's already a great success to participate in this kind of exhibition.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as far as what I'm doing so far with art, like I just kind of keep making small goals and trying to like meet that goal. And so every year I make a different goal. Like my first year was just to like start have an Instagram account, build that a little bit more, and kind of build a following. And then from there it was to make some really solid connections with like interior designers and kind of get into that realm. And I was able to do that, so I have a number of relationships there. And then this year my goal was to actually be a part of a little bit more showing. So this was kind of a step towards that. So as far as like my overarching, big dream or goal, I'm not exactly sure what that is. I've been trying to kind of build my career with like bite-sized, attainable goals. So yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. My last question: how do you feel about AI art?
AI art? I think I wouldn't want it to take over the actual craft of creating with a paintbrush, but I do find that there is value to be had with like I've even at times used AI to help me, with some of like troubleshooting some designs or compositions if I'm stuck. But I wouldn't want machines to take over, the beautiful craft that a human being, can create. But yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, what's your name?
Tomaz, Capobianco.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hi.
Tell me a little bit about your art. What do you do?
So a lot of my work is on paper. It's the main material I use, and I work a lot with software and laser engraving. So I used to be an architect, and part of the process of my work comes from architecture. So basically I start a 3D model in the computer, and from that 3D model I work out images that I then engrave on a laser machine.
Very impressive. Are you a full-time artist now?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, really? How your family or close friends, what do they think about your choice of profession?
Well, they like it, yeah. I mean, I was a lousy architect anyway. I mean, I don't have patience for architecture. It takes too long, so in art, the works have a faster pace. So that for me is more satisfying.
I'm asking because like artist is often considered like it's very hard to make a living with art unless you're like really good. That's why like many family would advise not to go that path.
Yes, yeah.
How
I
is
mean,
it for you?
architecture is not that you make a ton of money. I mean, you can make a ton of money in architecture, but it takes a long time. But for me, it was just like a gradual process. I started like trying out a little bit, and I was doing other jobs in the beginning, and then progressively it took over. And now
Oh, at what point did you understand that you want to be a full-time artist and you're ready?
it's about like 5 years ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so recently, yeah.
If you could come back to the beginning of your career, what advice would you give yourself at the very beginning?
I think I would still study architecture. I would do the same because I'm very interested in space and the relationship between people and space. And architecture is the best place to get into that. And architecture is a very broad field. So I think it's very cool to come into the arts from architecture. I like that perspective that I have in my work.
What do you think about AI art, artificial intelligence generative art?
I'm not very interested in it. I mean, what I use software which has algorithm in it. So to a degree, I'm using computers and robots in a way, to draw. I use a laser machine that draws for me. I don't draw with my own hands. So I do use robots and computers, and I really like it. But most of the AI art that I've seen out there, it just seems very generic. I don't know. It's just like it looks like a lot of it you can tell that it was right away made from a computer, and you lack any human touch to it. I mean, of course, there's good, amazing AI people out there, but a lot of it that I've seen is not so exciting.
Okay. And I also have a couple questions about the other fair itself. Was it difficult to get accepted? Did the other fair accept the application from the first attempt?
No, for me, no. I was invited. So.
You were invited. Okay, so you don't know the real.
I mean, I since then I apply every year. I didn't know about the fair and they invited me, and then I apply every year and they accept me, but I still have to apply, But
Okay.
yeah.
So it's because I have some artists also my followers on Instagram, and they also thinking about maybe applying to such art. Is it financially paid off this participation?
For me, yes. I mean, I don't know about this one. The fair just started,
This one.
but generally, yes. Generally, it's very good for me. Yes, I think it's worth it.
Thank you very much.
No, appreciate it.
Nice to meet you. Hello.
Hi.
My name is Sophia. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Cat.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Congratulations with this exhibition.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about what kind of art you do.
I do abstract. It's acrylic, all acrylic, just a lot of layers. Sometimes I use wood as a substrate. Sometimes it's canvas. Mostly, I would say influenced by nature, but mostly just by my internal, processing of things.
Very cool. I see you already sold one painting, right?
Right, I sold 2 of these too, but I replaced them. Yeah.
Oh, so it's like one person buys the painting, they take it and go, like they take
They
it right
pay
away?
and they bring me the receipt, and then I give them the painting, and they can go get it wrapped. And
Oh, so you cannot keep it to the end till the end of the
they
exhibition.
could if they wanted to, but I'm happy letting them take it with them.
So it's not required to keep it just for the sake of exhibition. It's not
Right?
required.
No. I want people to enjoy the art and have it, and if they want to purchase it, then they should be able to take it home.
I like your color palette. It's very warm, and I think it's very. It really will fit like almost any home or room, cozy modern interior like that. I also like that you painted this wall.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I just like it. I like the background because I feel like it gives a little bit more warmth and makes people. It's more inviting for people to want to come in and view. I think it complements the work well. Too,
Very much,
so.
and it also stands out because most of the.
That's another thing too. Is like if you do fairs frequently, you need to figure out a way to stand out. And I think painting the walls is another way to do it.
If you want people to remember where to go back to if they pass by and they like your work, it's easier for them to remember that particular spot if it looks different than all the other ones.
Can I ask you a couple questions about the fair itself? Yeah. Like, was it difficult to get accepted to the fair?
I mean, I don't know how difficult it is. I know I apply and I get accepted.
From the first attempt?
It's my understanding that, well, I think that's on a case-by-case basis. So if you say you got accepted on the first attempt, that doesn't mean it's easy to get in, because you don't know how many other people are applying. It's my understanding there are 800 to 1,000 people applying, and they have anywhere from 120 to 140 who actually get to do the fair. So, and I don't know what the criteria is, except that I think they're looking for good work, they're looking for new work, they're looking for emerging artists or independent artists who are trying to get seen. And the fair is a good way to do it, and they do a really great job of curating because there's a good variety of work.
So, is it your first time participating?
No.
So I see that they actually keep artists who participated once. It's more likely that you will apply.
There's a small group of people who always reapply. I'm one of those. That's mostly because I live in South Texas, so my ability to get seen in a large metropolitan area depends on a fair like this.
Okay.
Yeah, so I need this. So that's why I applied to it, because they do a great job of promoting, and I don't have a local market where I live. There's no market for my art where I live.
Is it financially paid off for the participation in these exhibitions?
Yes.
Every time?
I would say every time, yes.
So it's like for these 4 days you meet a lot of people, and they actually a lot of
there are purchases here at the art fair, and there's also people who contact you after, and art consultancies, galleries, depending on where you are and what they need. And so it's more than just what happens here, it's also about what happens after.
Are you full-time artist?
Yes.
Yeah, I could guess that. If you could come back to the start of your career, what advice would you give to yourself?
Be fearless. So I think a lot of the artists I meet who are really, really good, they have concerns about showing their art. Their biggest fear is that rejection, but I think you only do your art for you, and you hope people like it, and the only way to know is to put it out there, and if they don't like it, too bad. You know, you just keep making it and hope they like it.
Thank you so much. My name is Sophia. What's your name?
Billy Ludwig.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Tell me a little bit about your art. What kind of art do you do? What is your inspiration?
Well, this here, the majority of it is all mixed media. So I use a lot of halftone images and piece it all together, nail it down to wood, and then once everything's together, I start distressing it and, you know, marking it up, and that's when all the fun aspects come in. And then I have my abstract stuff that, you know, doesn't really have a subject, but just allows me to be a little bit more free with what I'm doing.
Why did you decide to use mostly black and white?
Really, when I decorate my own house, it's very neutral. You know, I like to use a lot of neutral colors, and I've just been drawn to black and white for a long time. So it's where I feel comfortable. I have done color stuff too, and it just never felt right. So that's why I've kind of stuck to the black and white, aside from, you know, maybe some splash of color on a couple pieces here and there, but it's very minimal.
Are you a full-time artist?
Yes.
How your close people feel about your choice of profession? Asking because the artist career is very hard. It's very tough.
I mean, it's kind of been my thing for quite a while now, but, you know, I do remember times when people, it took me a while to be comfortable to say I'm an artist. You know, I felt like it had to be my number one source of income to be able to say that I'm an artist. And it even took me a little bit of time once that was happening to, you know, still feel comfortable. And I would have people, you know, say, so what, you know, that's cool, you travel, you do this, you do that, you do your art, but what do you do, you know, where do you work? And this is what I do, you know. So I have had questions like that, but it's been a while. It's been a while since then.
How did you feel? At what point did you feel that, okay, now I'm going to be full-time artist?
I think it gets to the point where it's like, it's kind of do or die, you know? It's like, if I'm going to do this the right way, I've got to go all in, you know? And it wasn't easy in the beginning. I mean, I started in the negative, and you just keep going and going and going and pushing and pushing and pushing, you know?
If you could come back to the beginning, to the start of your artistic career, what advice could you give to yourself? Now you know more about that, and you can give that advice probably.
Stay focused, I think, would probably be one thing, and just keep experimenting. I mean, it's really what I feel like everything I did, there's a couple things I could have done different, but I think it took making a lot of mistakes and experimenting to get to where I am. And I'm still changing things up, you know, and doing things different. Even this year has been very different as far as the equation that I have, you know, put together for everything I do and how everything falls into place together with what I'm doing artistically and even from a business standpoint, you know. So I think that even as much as the mistakes and the hardships aren't necessarily fun, but I do feel that those things needed to happen in order to make things right.
A couple of questions about the other fair. Was it difficult to get to the fair to be accepted? I know that most artists are not accepted from the first attempt. How does it work? How to actually get accepted? What is important?
I think all of it's important. I mean, I think your portfolio is important. I do think experience is important. Your bio, just being professional as well, I think is important. But it is a process, and they do ask quite a few questions, and you just have to be, you know, you've got to be prepared to answer all those things and have a solid portfolio together.
Is there an interview? They ask questions on the interview?
Yeah, it's all done online. You know, it's like a form, I guess, but you know, it's pretty extensive. So it takes some time, and you've got to be ready to answer those questions.
So, like what kind of questions?
I don't know specifically. I can't remember right now, but just kind of. I can't remember right now, to be quite honest. Yeah, but a lot of it just has to do with bio and your information about you and your history and a little bit about your work. You know.
How many attempts did you make before getting accepted?
The first show I did with them was last year, last October in Dallas. I think I got accepted the second time I applied. I think, yeah. I think so. It might have been the first, but I think it was the second. Yeah.
Is it paid off to participate in the fairs?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it has been. Yeah, I continue to do better each one I do. Yeah. So
you meet collectors, right, during these 4 days of the fair?
I've definitely met a lot of new people, collectors, gallery owners, interior designers, all the cities I've done, for sure.
So it's like during the fair, they come, they see your art, and that's how it happens.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's been, the first one I did was really kind of to network and see where I fit in this aspect, and it's definitely been worth it, for sure.
So how do you feel about AI art, generative art?
Well, you know, I've done digital art for a long time. None of it's displayed here, but you know, for a long time, I feel like people would see work that I did and they would just say, you know, oh, it's just Photoshop shit, you know, and I'm like, well, I'm not just punching in the information and telling him what to do. I'm like, really doing all this isn't very, very tedious. Now AI kind of just does that. So I'm not against it. I'm already bored with it. I got to be honest. Like, I think a lot of people have a lot of great ideas, and a lot of the images I've seen are really, really great to look at, to be quite honest, you know. But I'm already kind of bored with it, you know. Even from like an interior design standpoint, I see so many homes or interiors. I'm like, that's awesome. And then I'm like, oh, it's AI. You know, I wish it was real, and then I don't know. That's just kind of where I'm at with it, but I'm not against it. I I could see myself doing more with AI art at some point, you know, but right now it's just, I guess the only frustrating aspect for me is like if I do something in Photoshop and I've only had it said once, somebody's like, oh, that's just AI, and I'm like, no.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hello, my name is Sophia. What's your name?
My name is Wiley.
Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you too.
Tell me a little bit about art you do.
Yeah, so my work focuses on neurodiversity. I have ADHD and I'm autistic, and so that is inherent in my work. And a lot of people think that because my work is so meticulous and structured that, you know, they can't believe that I have ADHD. But for me, like that's the thing that I hyper focus on compared to other things that, you know, I can't really pay attention to, but this is something that I can. So that's what my work.
Are you a full-time artist?
I am a full-time artist, yes.
What do you, close people think, feel, how do they feel about your choice of profession? Because artist is a kind of tough career.
Yeah. My parents were always super supportive growing up, and, you know, made sure like I was able to take art classes and stuff like that. So everyone close to me has always been super supportive, so I never felt like it was something that I had to do on my own. I always felt like everyone was supporting me in that decision.
That's
so
cool.
yeah.
How many years are you doing art?
Yeah, this is my fourth year. I graduated from college in 2019, so it's my fourth year out of college and doing this.
So you're kind of in the beginning of your career.
I am for sure. Yeah.
Okay, we'll still ask this question. What would you advise yourself if you could come back to the very start of your artistic career?
Just keep making more pieces. Just keep making them, even if nothing is coming from it. Just keep making them, and it'll be okay. Yeah.
And also want to ask you a couple questions about the fair itself. Was it difficult to get accepted? Because I know that some people apply and they get rejected. What would you? Were you accepted from the first attempt?
This was my first time applying, so it was my first attempt. But I don't know how hard it was. I mean,
So
I
you
applied
just
and then
applied?
so I was lucky enough to, you know, I haven't applied multiple times.
Did you work hard on your application, like put in all the information? Did your best to?
Yeah, I definitely put my best effort into the application, but
It's your first
I don't know.
time.
It's my first
participating.
time. It's my
Okay,
first.
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Very, very cool work. Is it some kind of like stars and astronomical?
So they're technically kaleidoscopes. So you can see, especially in these pieces here, kaleidoscopes basically just have 3 different central points where the shapes repeat out of. And then those 3 points repeat over and over. So they create hexagons, and then they keep repeating. So then with a piece like this in the middle, I just broke up the kaleidoscope and started it and stopped it at various points.
What is your goal as an artist? Like your biggest dream as an artist?
My biggest dream is just to keep making my own work and what I want to make, and have that support myself and a future family.
And my last question, what do you think about AI art, generative art?
I honestly don't know very much about AI art.
What do you feel like when you see those images? Or you try not to look?
Yeah, it feels weird. I mean, I grew up when the internet was just starting. So, I don't know, it's just any kind of big change like that feels kind of weird to me.
I see.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, my name is Sophia. What's your name?
Adam, nice to meet you.
Tell me a little bit about what kind of art you do. What is your inspiration?
So the inspiration for all these paintings is different colors from sunrise. So every color on every frame here was taken from one photo of a sunrise. So I take the photo into Photoshop, I use a color dropper to get the colors, and then I create that color using acrylic paint. And what I want is to isolate each color in one composition to focus the viewer on how different colors in the sky can make you feel. And then in terms of the frames, I want that color, because it's from light in the sky, to feel like it's coming out of the frame versus the frame holding everything in. And the line repetition is all about this idea that in nature there's a bunch of different patterns that show up everywhere. So you could say this is a mountain or a wave or a tree. And so there's lots of different forms that repeat in nature that are not exclusive to one thing. And the way that it's made is just one line at a time, which to me is incredibly meditative and soothing and creates like a stillness in my mind. And when people look at it, I want them to feel calm and soothed also.
It's canvas or board?
It's all, so there's only one, this is all canvas. That one is panel, but yeah, they're all canvas. And yeah, it's all acrylic paint. Yeah, and so what I do is I use a paint marker for the lines, and I just mix the paint, use the paint marker, and just do one line at a time. And all the line colors is like a lighter version of like the base color. So everything is technically monochromatic. And then I also did the mural on the other side of the wall. So I did this. So this is called Stillness Ritual. And the idea is similar, which is from the same photo using color from sunrise. And really just to challenge myself to see how focused and still I could be in making work. But ritual is the idea that the repetition of a thing is a ritual. So if you wake up every day and you have coffee, that's a ritual. If you go to church, that's a ritual. And we do a lot of things in our lives that are ritual. It's like a repeated thing. And so it's this idea of ritual to create work and to create a sense of motion, but in a way that's not jarring, in a way that's relaxing and makes you feel calm.
Are you a full-time artist?
I'm not. No, I have a day job, but I do this on the side. So it's just a passion of mine, and really for me, it's just a way to kind of relax, express myself, but not be too specific about what I'm making. So that way, people can bring their own idea to it. You know.
Can I also ask a couple of questions about the fair itself?
The fair? Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you want to know?
Was it difficult to get accepted? Did they accept?
Not for me. I've done this 8 times. I've been doing the art fair since 2018. So this is like the 8th or 9th edition I've done. So I don't know if it was hard maybe in the beginning. I don't know. So for me, it's not. It may be for others. It's gotten bigger, so I think they are accepting more people now. Like that's why we're in a new venue this year than we were last year. But yeah, no, I mean, you just have to submit like a certain amount of work. Are you looking to participate?
I'm not personally, but I have artists who follow me, and they interested in these kind of questions. They try to accept, and some artists were rejected, and they are interested in kind of what is important when you apply.
I think it's about understanding like the market you're in. Like, so if you're going to show in New York, it's good to understand, like, is my work marketable in New York? You might have great work. Maybe it makes sense for another city. And
what do you mean?
Like different art markets have different aesthetics, you know? Like, if you did LA, it might be different than here. And so I think it's just understanding that a little bit. But it's also like presentation, like, because you have to submit images, right? So it's just about how you format those, how you present those. You know, like, are your photos straight on? Are they poor lighting, good lighting? It's just like taking the time to be sure like your stuff like looks right. Like you're selling yourself. Like you kind of just have to put in like a little bit of work to do it. But I don't know. I don't run the fair, so I can't say why certain people.
And for you, is it paid off? Participation is paid off? It's financially...
Yeah, but it's not guaranteed, you know? Like, you have to work, you have to talk to people, you have to promote yourself. Some people are better at that than others. You know, like, the work doesn't always sell itself. Some work does, but not always. So it really depends on, like, what price point you're selling work at. Like if you're selling work, my work's more expensive, so it takes a little bit more in terms of conversations to sell things. If you're selling things that are cheaper, like less than $1,000, it's not as hard. Or if it's smaller, there's also like thing to keep in mind is like back to the market. Like we live in New York, people don't have tons of wall space, so my work's harder to sell.
Who's your collector? Like ideal collector or like average collector, I would say. What is the person who buys large scale abstract paintings?
I mean, usually it's people. Sometimes it's people that live in the city, but more often than not, it's people that live outside the city and will come in. People have homes, they have wall space. But it is important to know, like I'm definitely pushing the limits of how big things can be for New York City. Other people, like if you look around, like people have like smaller things. So tomorrow I'm going to bring a couple smaller paintings, just have them just in case, because those are just easier to sell. So they cost less. People have more room for them. It's hard to fit big paintings on a wall in an apartment, you know. So
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, my name is Sophia. What's your name?
I'm Dilara. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Tell me a little bit about what kind of art do you do?
So I do pop art, realistic paintings. I love painting themes of nostalgia, memories, and fun. I'm not very serious, so I like kind of humor coming through my work as well. So a lot of the titles also have to deal with humor and adding another layer to paintings, I feel.
Very cute.
Thank you.
What is your biggest artistic goal?
Well, my biggest goal was to become a full-time artist. And so I've been a full-time artist for a year now. I studied art in university, and then I was working part-time doing art part-time. But I'm full-time, and this is my first international show, hopefully the first of many. So my future goals would be to do more shows internationally. I'm from Sydney. I'm Sydney-based.
Very cool. How your family and close people feel about your choice of profession? Because artistic career is
It's different, yes. They have been supportive since day one. Like my parents, when I was deciding what to do in university, I said, should I do art or should I do something more traditional? And my parents said, you got to do what you love because you have to do it for the rest of your life. So no point in choosing like a traditional career path if you're not going to enjoy it. So my parents have been my number one supporters, and then my friends, my family, like family friends, everyone loves coming to shows and supporting me, and I couldn't have asked for a better network.
very cute.
Yeah.
Was it difficult to get accepted to the exhibition? Was it your first attempt and you got accepted?
So I have done the Sydney branch of the other art fair. I've done it 5 times now. I've applied to the Brooklyn one once before, and I didn't get accepted, but that was when I first started out. But yeah, this is my second time applying, and I got accepted, and I'm very happy to be here and very, very proud. And
Yeah, congratulations. This was great atmosphere.
yes, it's amazing.
Great place to be.
It is.
Do you have any advice to artists who want to apply? Maybe you kind of feel what was important in your application, why you were accepted.
I think my first body of work that I submitted wasn't as cohesive or as refined as my later work, especially because it was at the beginning of my career. So choose works that are your strongest visually, and also keep trying, because if I didn't try again, I wouldn't have gotten in or known. So you don't know until you try. So if you don't get in the first time, keep trying.
Yeah. Your last fairs, you participated in a couple of them in Sydney.
Yes.
Were they financially profitable, paid off?
Yes, I think my works are quite small, and people kind of buy with their heart when they see my stuff, because it ties into memories. So in that respect, it's quite easy sale to make. So I've been very lucky and very fortunate to be
Pay off as well?
I think so. I hope so. Fingers crossed. You don't know what will happen, but I like to keep my work affordable because I feel like it skews to a younger audience. So if someone loves a painting, I would like them to be able to afford it and take it home, because I know I've had that moment of seeing something I really like and it being way out of my price range, and I don't want to do that.
But still, it's a little bit more financially expensive for you to fly from Sydney to here.
Yes.
So it's
Very much, but I also see this as a marketing opportunity, getting new eyeballs on my work that I wouldn't get otherwise, because I'm Sydney based, so like that's the only way, that's my market at the moment. But I want to try expanding, getting to new clients and having more people see what I make.
do you market your work on Instagram? Instagram is my main form of marketing.
Is it important for you to build following?
Yes. Oh, and TikTok. I do have quite a big TikTok following, which is great. I make little short like vlogs and videos and do voiceovers and stuff like that. But I would say I'm not the best at marketing. So that's why I find fairs like this very valuable, because I get to speak to people, have people see my work. Even if they don't buy something, they might follow me on Instagram, and you know, never know where that'll lead in the future.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, my name is Sophia. What's your name?
My name is Aaron.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Tell me about your art. What kind of art you do? And I see that you reference to other artists. What is it about?
Well, I would say the inspiration, it really doesn't come from anywhere specific. So it's not like, I'm looking at something sort of, political, or I've got a message or anything to say. It's more about composition is what inspires me. So all of these are derived from just either scribbles, or there's a specific image in mind. Like this came from an image in a photography book. This is obviously a rip-off of Caravaggio, but it's really, it's about paint and drawing. So, I mean, I think that the process for my work is more important than the actual imagery.
So it's just you take inspiration from referencing to other artists. Okay.
Yeah, many times, and sometimes it just comes from doodling or scribbling on a page. Like this comes from nothing other than just a bunch of scribbles that I think will convey well on a canvas. And then once that happens, I will photograph the line work, project it on the canvas, and literally just trace it.
I like your style. Are you a full-time artist?
I'm not.
Oh, you're not?
I'm not. I would love to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of difficult to be full-time artist and to make living as an artist.
Exactly.
Okay. But but you're still you are experienced artist. You participate in this kind of class. You have a lot of experience as an artist, right?
Yeah. I mean, I try to do these sort of events as often as possible, and I try to get into the studio as often as possible.
If you could come back to the beginning of your artistic career, what advice would you give to yourself?
Keep working. Keep working. Yeah, just get in the studio and keep working. Bad art is good art, I mean, it's just because you learn from every experience. So even if you're creating something that you don't think is working, that teaches you something about the next piece.
And your other day job, is it connected to art somehow, or it's completely something different?
It's the art of building. So it's architecture. Yeah, I mean, I'm not an architect, but I'm in real estate and build buildings. So yeah, it's the art of the constructed world.
Mm-hmm. Can I also ask you a couple of questions about the fair itself? Was it difficult to get accepted to this fair? Was you very accepted from the first attempt?
I applied to this one before and did not get in, and this time I did. So it is a jury fair.
Do you know the reason for its rejection for the first time?
I'm not sure. No.
Any advice for other artists who want to apply? What should you do to get accepted? Maybe you kind of figured out something.
No, I just submitted my work again. Yeah, there's no real secret other than you're kind of blindly submitting your work, and you cross your fingers. I mean, I think they try to curate it enough that there's a wide variety of not only just the art itself, but the people and where they're from, and so
So it can also depend on what other people they already selected, and if you kind of fit to that selection.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's your first time in this art fair, right?
In this art fair in this city. Yeah, I've done this same fair in Dallas, Texas before.
Is it financially paid off to this participation in the fairs like this?
It depends on how well you do. I mean,
you specifically?
For the show I did in Dallas, absolutely. Yeah, but you have some other shows where you just break it even. And really, in my opinion, that's kind of the point of these shows. I mean, you really just want to cover your costs, get yourself out there, meet people, because that you're developing relationships
going to sort of keep you going in perpetuity.
Yeah, I also really like this location. It's a new location for the other fair in New York, and it's really good.
Yeah, it's great. The space is amazing.
Also, my last question, I ask this like every artist, what do you think about AI art, like generative art?
I have mixed opinions on it. I mean, I think that, you know, just the advancement of art in any kind should be, we should embrace it, right? So, I mean, whatever AI can do, whatever we make AI do, I mean, I think it's good. You just don't want to lose the human touch in artwork. So part of me makes me think that AI will make sort of the human craft more important. You know, so it's like, you know, do you want something that was generated by a robot, or would you like something that's generated by a human by hand? So, you know.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.